Have you ever stepped into a bustling room, the hum of conversations and laughter swirling around, and felt the urge to turn back? It's not just about the noise or the number of people. It's a deep-seated feeling, an almost visceral sense that you're out of sync with the rhythm of it all. You try to blend in, to laugh, to talk, to connect, but inside you feel like a spectator in a world that demands your participation. And more often than not, you wish you could retreat to the safety of solitude. Society tells us that connection is everything. We're reminded constantly that humans are social creatures, that relationships are the key to happiness. We hear phrases like "no man is an island," or "happiness is only real when shared." But what happens when being around others leaves you feeling more drained than fulfilled? What if the constant push to connect feels like a battle against your very nature? You might even wonder if something is wrong with you. After all, why does the world seem so at ease with the chatter, the small talk, the endless interactions, while you feel like an outsider struggling to find your place? These feelings aren't uncommon, and they certainly aren't signs of weakness. They're clues about who you are and what you truly need to thrive. In fact, the Bible offers a counterbalance to the societal demand for constant engagement. In Matthew 11:28, we are told, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." These words serve as a reminder that seeking solace isn't selfish, it's necessary. Solitude isn't about rejecting others, it's about finding rest for your soul. This video isn't about telling you to avoid people entirely. Instead, it's about understanding the deeper reasons behind your feelings. It's about recognizing that the longing for space, quiet, and introspection doesn't make you flawed, it makes you human. Together, we'll uncover 5 profound reasons why you might prefer solitude, diving into the complexities of trust, energy, connection, and self-worth. And through this journey, you'll see that solitude isn't just a retreat, it's a way to honor yourself. By the end, you'll have a clearer picture of how to balance the world's demands with your own inner peace, because both matter, and so do you. Reason 1, you are an introvert. There's a quiet beauty in solitude, isn't there? The stillness, the calm, the way your thoughts seem to expand without interruption. For you, solitude isn't loneliness, it's liberation. It's a chance to recharge and reconnect with yourself. As an introvert, this isn't a preference, it's a necessity, woven into the very fabric of who you are. Introversion doesn't mean avoiding people or lacking social skills. Instead, it's about how you process the world. While extroverts draw energy from social interaction, you find it draining. It's not that you dislike people, you're simply selective about where and how you invest your energy. This distinction is crucial in understanding your need for solitude. Modern society, however, often glorifies extroversion. The ideal seems to be someone outgoing, social, and always on. For introverts, this can feel like constant pressure to conform, leaving little room for the depth and introspection they crave. You've likely encountered moments where your preference for solitude has been misunderstood, mistaken for aloofness, or even rejection. But those judgments fail to see the rich inner world you inhabit, a place of creativity, thoughtfulness, and profound insight. You value meaningful connections over casual small talk. Surface-level conversations often feel empty, leaving you wondering why your energy was spent on something so fleeting. Instead, you yearn for exchanges that go deeper, touching on subjects that truly matter. Small talk might be necessary at times, but it rarely fulfills you. The Bible offers comfort in these moments. "Be still and know that I am God," Psalm 46:10. These words remind us that stillness is not a flaw, but a gift, a chance to find peace and purpose away from the world's noise. It's in these quiet moments that you can reflect, pray, and gain clarity. Choosing solitude isn't about avoiding others, it's about self-preservation. For you, stepping back is an act of self-care, a way to protect your inner energy. When you do engage with others, you bring a sense of authenticity and purpose to those interactions. Your ability to truly listen and connect deeply is a rare and valuable trait. Still, living in an extroverted world isn't easy. Crowded spaces and loud environments can quickly become overwhelming. These experiences drain your energy, leaving you longing for the sanctuary of solitude. Yet this isn't antisocial behavior, it's a natural response to overstimulation. By stepping away, you're honoring your needs and prioritizing your well-being. Your introversion isn't a limitation, it's a strength. It's what allows you to notice details others miss, to reflect deeply, and to approach life with a thoughtful perspective. Even Jesus sought moments of solitude, but Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Luke 5:16. His example highlights the power of quiet reflection, reinforcing that solitude is not just valid, it's essential. So the next time someone questions your preference for staying in or your quiet demeanor, remember this: your choice to honor your introverted nature reflects your wisdom and self-awareness. In a world that values noise and busyness, choosing stillness is an act of courage. Your introversion is not a flaw. It's a gift that allows you to live intentionally and meaningfully. Reason 2. Trust issues. Trust is a fragile thing. It takes years to build, seconds to break, and sometimes an entire lifetime to repair. For many, the reluctance to be around people isn't born out of dislike or indifference. It stems from the scars left by betrayal. If you've ever had a close friend turn their back on you, a loved one break their promises, or a confidant twist your words, you know how deeply those experiences can cut. Over time, they leave you questioning not just others, but your own ability to judge character. Trust issues aren't paranoia, they're a defense mechanism. They arise when the risk of connection feels too great, when the pain of opening up outweighs the potential joy of being understood. Imagine pouring your heart out to someone only to have your vulnerabilities exploited. It's not just hurtful, it's destabilizing. Suddenly the rules of connection seem arbitrary, and the ground beneath your relationships feels shaky at best. The Bible speaks to this pain and offers guidance. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. This verse reminds us of the importance of protecting our inner selves, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Trust isn't something to be given freely. It's earned through consistency, honesty, and care. When trust is broken, it leaves behind a residue of caution. You start noticing subtle cues, a tone that doesn't match the words, a lingering glance, or an offhand comment that feels like a red flag. While others might brush these things aside, you catalogue them, adding each instance to a mental ledger. Over time, this heightened sensitivity can make you appear guarded or distant, even when you long for connection. But it's not just the fear of being hurt again that holds you back. It's the sheer effort of vulnerability. Opening up feels like reopening a wound, exposing it to the risk of further damage. Each social interaction becomes a gamble, one where the stakes are your emotional well-being. It's no wonder, then, that solitude often feels like the safer choice. Yet deep down, the desire for connection remains. You long for the kind of relationships that are built on mutual respect, understanding, and trust. The Bible offers hope for this longing. 2 are better than 1, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. This verse underscores the value of trustworthy companionship, reminding us that genuine relationships are worth the risk. Rebuilding trust is a slow and deliberate process. It starts with small steps, a kind word, a shared laugh, or a moment of mutual vulnerability. It requires finding those rare individuals who prove, time and again, that they're worthy of your trust. These are the people who listen without judgment, who support without conditions, and who remain steadfast even in difficult times. Until then, it's okay to keep your distance. Protecting yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. You have every right to prioritize your well-being, to say no to relationships that feel draining or unsafe. The world might pressure you to just move on or give people a chance, but only you know what your heart can handle. Trust issues don't mean you've given up on people. They mean you've learned to value yourself enough to be cautious. And while it's tempting to retreat entirely, remember that not everyone will let you down. There are people out there who will cherish your trust, honor your boundaries, and prove that connection doesn't have to hurt. So, the next time you hesitate to open up, remind yourself of this truth. Trust, when placed in the right hands, is a beautiful thing. It allows you to experience the warmth of genuine understanding and the comfort of knowing someone has your back. And when you find those rare individuals who truly earn it, the rewards of connection far outweigh the risks. Reason 3. Spending time with the wrong people. Not all company is good company. One of the most overlooked reasons you might prefer solitude is the simple fact that the people you've spent time with may not truly align with your values, needs, or energy. It's not that you dislike socializing, it's that the wrong kinds of interactions can leave you feeling drained, frustrated, or even worse than before you engaged. We've all encountered them. The overt talkers who monopolize every conversation without pausing to ask how you're doing. The subtle critics who hide their insults behind veiled compliments, leaving you questioning their intentions and your own worth. The energy vampires who bring a storm of negativity, drama, or complaints wherever they go. Spending time with these individuals doesn't just feel unproductive, it feels like emotional labor. Imagine sitting across from someone who dominates the discussion with their problems but never asks about yours. Or enduring a social setting where you're pushed to participate in activities that feel completely at odds with your personality. Perhaps it's a friend who insists on loud, chaotic environments when you'd rather share a quiet cup of coffee. These moments, while seemingly small, accumulate over time, creating a mental association between socializing and discomfort. The Bible warns us about the company we keep. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. 1 Corinthians 15:33. This verse speaks to the profound influence relationships have on our well-being and choices. When you surround yourself with people who don't respect your boundaries, you risk losing touch with your own sense of peace and authenticity. It's not just about toxic individuals, though. Sometimes it's about people who simply don't understand you. They may have good intentions but fail to see what truly matters to you. For instance, a well-meaning colleague might encourage you to attend every office gathering, believing it's the key to success, while you'd prefer to quietly excel in your work. Or a family member might push you towards social norms that feel foreign or even exhausting. These experiences don't just frustrate, they erode your willingness to engage. Over time, these mismatched interactions take their toll. You begin to associate socializing with frustration, awkwardness, or outright discomfort. It's not that you're antisocial, you've simply grown tired of the emotional cost of these encounters. And so you choose solitude, not out of rejection of others, but as an embrace of your own well-being. Choosing solitude isn't about giving up on connection. It's about protecting your energy. When you spend time with people who uplift, inspire, and understand you, those moments feel invigorating, even life-giving. But when you're surrounded by negativity or misunderstanding, it can feel like an uphill battle just to stay present. Protecting yourself from these draining experiences isn't selfish. It's necessary for your mental and emotional health. The good news is that you don't have to resign yourself to solitude forever. Instead, you can seek out relationships that truly nourish you. Surround yourself with those who respect your boundaries, honor your preferences, and make you feel seen and valued. The Bible offers encouragement for this pursuit. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Proverbs 27:17. The right relationships can strengthen and enrich you, helping you grow while still allowing you to feel at ease. It's also important to recognize that walking away from the wrong people doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you someone who values their time and energy. You have every right to prioritize relationships that add joy and meaning to your life, rather than depleting it. Whether it's ending toxic friendships, setting firm boundaries, or simply choosing to say no to invitations that don't serve you, these decisions are acts of self-care. So the next time you feel guilty for declining an invitation or stepping away from a draining interaction, remind yourself that not all company is worth keeping. Solitude isn't about avoiding people, it's about waiting for the right ones. And when you find them, the friends, partners, and mentors who truly align with your soul, you'll rediscover the joy of connection without the cost to your well-being. Reason 4. Low self-esteem. Sometimes the reluctance to be around people isn't about them, it's about you. Deep within there may be a nagging voice that whispers you're not enough, not interesting enough, not successful enough, or not worthy enough of others' attention. It's a heavy weight to carry, and while it might not be visible on the surface, it can profoundly impact how you engage with the world. Outwardly, you might seem fine, even confident. You smile, make conversation, and play your part in social settings. But beneath that polished exterior, there's often a storm of self-doubt. You replay past interactions in your mind, dissecting every word, every look, every moment, and asking yourself questions like, did I say the wrong thing? Did they think I was boring? Did I embarrass myself? Over time, these thoughts can spiral, turning every gathering into a minefield of potential rejection or judgment. This self-doubt creates a vicious cycle. The more you pull back from social interactions, the more disconnected you feel. And the more disconnected you feel, the harder it becomes to put yourself out there again. Eventually, socializing feels less like an opportunity for connection and more like a test you're afraid to fail. The Bible offers encouragement for moments like these. For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works. Start. Ephesians 2, verse 10. This verse reminds us that we are crafted with care and purpose. Your worth isn't determined by what others think of you. It's inherent, given by God, and unshaken by the fleeting opinions of the world. Low self-esteem can distort how you perceive yourself and others. You might assume people are judging you when, in reality, they're likely focused on their own insecurities. The harsh inner critic that amplifies every perceived flaw is often far crueler than anyone else would ever be. Yet, recognizing this doesn't always silence the voice. It takes intentional effort to rewrite the narrative and replace self-doubt with self-compassion. The fear of judgment can make even casual interactions feel like a performance. You overanalyze your words, body language, and tone of voice, hoping to appear perfect, while secretly worrying you're falling short. But here's the truth. No one is perfect, and no one expects you to be. Authenticity, the ability to be yourself, flaws and all, is far more powerful and endearing than any attempt to conform to an unrealistic ideal. What's worse is how low self-esteem can lead to isolation. The more you withdraw, the more you reinforce the belief that you're unworthy of connection. This isolation feeds the cycle, making it harder to break free. But even in these moments of doubt, there is hope. The Bible reminds us, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." 10. You are never truly alone, even when the world feels like a lonely place. Breaking free from the grip of low self-esteem starts with small, intentional steps. Begin by challenging your inner critic. When those thoughts of inadequacy arise, counter them with truth. Remind yourself of your strengths, your accomplishments, and the love you have to offer. Surround yourself with people who uplift you rather than those who feed your insecurities. It's also important to practice self-care. This means setting boundaries, saying no when necessary, and allowing yourself time to rest and recharge. Self-esteem isn't built overnight, but with patience and persistence, you can nurture a healthier, more compassionate relationship with yourself. Finally, don't be afraid to seek help. Whether it's through prayer, trusted friends, or professional guidance, reaching out can make a world of difference. Sometimes, the simple act of sharing your feelings can alleviate the weight of carrying them alone. Remember, your worth isn't determined by how others perceive you or how many friends you have. It's rooted in who you are, a unique individual with a perspective and a purpose that no one else can replicate. So the next time you hesitate to join a conversation or attend a gathering, remind yourself of this truth. You are enough, just as you are. Reason 5. Social anxiety. Have you ever felt your heart race and your palms sweat at the mere thought of walking into a crowded room? Social anxiety isn't just shyness or an overreaction to social situations. It's a deeply rooted fear of being judged, misunderstood, or not measuring up. It's the mental chatter that begins long before the interaction even takes place, building scenarios in your mind that make every gathering feel like an impending disaster. Picture this. You've been invited to a small party. The setting is casual, and you know many of the attendees are kind and friendly. Still, as the event approaches, your mind starts running through endless what-ifs. What if I say something awkward? What if no one talks to me? What if they notice how nervous I am? By the time you arrive, you're already exhausted from battling these thoughts. Every interaction feels like walking a tightrope, and every silence feels deafening. The Bible offers comfort in these moments of overwhelming anxiety. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Philippians 4:6. This verse reminds us that we are not alone in our struggles. Turning to prayer and seeking God's peace can provide solace when the weight of anxiety feels unbearable. Social anxiety transforms even simple interactions into monumental challenges. A casual smile feels forced, a brief pause in conversation feels like a glaring failure, and even holding a drink feels like a calculated act to appear normal. These thoughts create a mental fog that clouds your ability to engage authentically, leaving you drained and questioning every moment long after the event ends. The roots of social anxiety often lie in past experiences, moments of embarrassment, rejection, or ridicule that left lasting imprints on your mind. These memories become triggers, resurfacing in new situations and reinforcing your fears. Over time, the fear of judgment becomes so strong that avoiding social settings feels like the only way to protect yourself. Yet, this avoidance can create a paradox. The less you interact, the more daunting socializing becomes, and the more disconnected you feel. But here's the truth. The world isn't as harsh a judge as your mind might lead you to believe. Most people are far more focused on their own insecurities to notice the small mistakes you fear they'll scrutinize. And even when missteps happen, they rarely define you in the way your anxious thoughts suggest. The Bible reassures us of this. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27:1. Knowing that you are held by a loving and understanding God can help lessen the grip of anxiety. Overcoming social anxiety is not an easy journey, but it is possible. It begins with self-compassion, allowing yourself to acknowledge your fears without judgment. Small steps can make a big difference. Start with brief interactions that feel manageable, such as a short conversation with a colleague or a quick greeting to a neighbor. Each success builds confidence, slowly breaking down the walls of anxiety. Seeking support can also be transformative. Whether it's through trusted friends, professional counseling, or faith communities, having a network that understands and encourages you can provide the safety you need to grow. Remember, even Jesus surrounded himself with disciples and sought connection despite moments of solitude. Most importantly, allow yourself grace. Social anxiety doesn't define who you are. It's a challenge you face, not your identity. Your worth isn't determined by how seamlessly you navigate social situations, but by the kindness, compassion, and depth you bring to the relationships that matter most. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by the thought of socializing, remind yourself that progress doesn't happen overnight. Take small, meaningful steps forward, leaning on your faith and the support of those who love you. And when the world feels too heavy to bear, remember the promise found in Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. You don't have to face social anxiety alone. With patience, courage, and trust, the chains that bind you can loosen, making space for meaningful connection and a life filled with purpose and peace. Conclusion. At the heart of these reasons lies one undeniable truth. Your preference for solitude isn't a simple aversion to people. It's a reflection of your experiences, personality, and needs. Whether it's the quiet craving of an introvert, the lingering scars of broken trust, the frustration of mismatched connections, the weight of low self-esteem, or the exhausting pull of social anxiety, these feelings don't make you flawed. They make you human. Solitude isn't inherently a bad thing. It's in the stillness where creativity flourishes, introspection deepens, and clarity emerges. The Bible reminds us of the power of quiet reflection. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. In moments of solitude, you can reconnect with your true self, away from the distractions and demands of the world. This isn't selfish, it's self-preservation, a way to nurture your soul. But while solitude can be restorative, balance is essential. Avoiding the world entirely can lead to isolation, robbing you of the joy and growth that come from meaningful relationships. As Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 tells us, 2 are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. True connection, built on trust and understanding, is one of life's greatest gifts. The journey to finding this balance isn't easy, but it's worth pursuing. It starts with honoring your feelings and understanding their roots, not as weaknesses but as signposts guiding you toward what you truly need. Seek relationships that uplift you, and don't be afraid to set boundaries with those who don't. Remember, it's not about avoiding people. It's about choosing the right ones. As you navigate this path, lean into faith. God's presence offers a source of strength and guidance, even in your loneliest moments. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. Psalm 23 verse 1. His love and wisdom remind us that we are never truly alone, even when we retreat to solitude. So the next time someone questions why you prefer time alone, remember this. Your journey isn't about meeting the expectations of others. It's about finding peace within yourself, embracing your unique path, and nurturing the connections that truly matter. Solitude, when balanced with intentional relationships, isn't a rejection of the world. It's a celebration of who you are. In a world that constantly demands your time, energy, and attention, choosing to honor yourself is a quiet act of rebellion, and a beautiful one at that. Celebrate your solitude. Cherish your growth, and trust that with time, you'll find the harmony that allows you to thrive.